Yo, before we start, shout out again to Clyde Collin for correctly guessing Susie. Congratulations to you. So next question, what is the name of Henry's son? Good luck guessing and enjoy. What's up everyone, it's TGBSV. Today I somehow managed to finish my story of Mimic script that being written since like 5 months. The reason it took so long is because since here is a lot to say about Mimic, and I wanted to say the most information about him, and my script was kinda messy because I split it in multiple part and stuff, but enough yapping, let's just start because I already know this video will probably be as long as the Michael Afton video. Also, since the script took 5 months, it might have some outdated stuff. Normally should be okay since I'll mainly talk about what happened in Tale in a straightforward way, and I think I did follow the Glitchtrap as another half of Mimic thing, but not totally him, but just in case you have been warned. Not gonna lie, I didn't really wanna do this one right now since here are already plenty of video already covering the Mimic and he's quite a complicated topic, but you know what, I decided it why I should be making this video, because here is too much misinformation on his subject, borderline confirmed stuff being ignored, a lot of stuff like that. So most of the video will be based on fact, mainly everything we learned thanks to the tale from the Pizzaplex. However, here will be some part that will be quite speculative and what I think happened. Those part I will say it right now will mainly be on Burntrap part of the video. I guess we are ready now. So let's go for the story of the main antagonist of the second saga of FNAF. His story start back again in the 80s, when Edwin Murray, an engineer bought out by Fazbear Entertainment to build animatronics, realizes that he will soon be unable to care for his growing 4-year-old son David. He decides to build a legless robot that would care for David while Edwin worked. The robot would be simple. What it would do is observe and mimic them. He named this robot Mimic, based on his code name Mimic1. When Edwin tried to activate him, the Mimic immediately started to mimic David's behavior. David was impressed by his new friends. He started teaching the Mimic many things: how to play patty cake, use hand movement to communicate certain things, how to color, how to throw ball, and etc. Edwin was impressed at how fast the Mimic was learning and decided to improve him by making his movement smoother and keep up with David, who take the Mimic everywhere he goes. The Mimic also began to curve its left arm to mimic how David hold his favorite toy tiger plush. The Mimic wasn't only just able to mimic but also respond, which amazed Edwin. The Mimic also began to mimic David's love to dress up in costume. One night, Edwin tinkered with Mimic's mobility so he could move even more fluidly. The next day, Edwin is making a breakfast while David is playing outside. The breakfast was ready. Edwin went to go search David, still playing outside, and when he found David, he was chasing his ball into the road. A white van arrived in. This wasn't real. This couldn't be real. No way this just happened. For the next 2 weeks, Edwin is sent into a depressive fugue. During this, Mimic was still mimicking David, being a shadow of what Edwin's son once was. He was mimicking David wanting ice cream. Seeing this overwhelmed Edwin with fury and self-recrimination. The Mimic just reminded him of the guilt. He couldn't handle it, and started smashing the Mimic with a metal rod. He damaged his face, spine, rib cage, arms, pincers. He could feel his murderous thought pouring through his muscle and transfusing through the metal into Mimic's system. Unknowingly, he gave all his pain, his hate, his agony to the Mimic. Eventually he would run out of energy. His angers turn into regret as he cries over Mimic before running away. At this instant, the Mimic became the shadow of what David once was, and the manifestation of Edwin's anger and pain. A few months later, Fazbear Entertainment sent a small team to the abandoned factory to clean up a mess. The team thought they were meant to finish Edwin's project. While they explored the place, they came across the Mimic remain, and decided to give him leg. After that, the Mimic, who was now filled with agony and who just learned something new, violence, started killing them brutally one by one, shoving a man in a refrigerator, impale another with a metal rod in a closet while hanging him from a coat hanger, etc., and this team was gone. Later a second team is sent: Dominic, Harry and Glenn. They come across costumes of Freddy Fazbear, Chica, Foxy, Bonnie, and 2 bright pink and yellow-green court jesters. Unsure of what to do, Dominic explores the second floor while Glenn and Harry investigate the third. Dominic comes across a strange smell and a fridge with a reddish-brown stain near the vent. He decides to check later and investigates a bedroom, finding a Fazbear Enterprises issued satchel like the one he has. They later discover the previous team got trapped here, and now they're trapped too. Harry notices that one of the jesters is gone, and Glenn suggests they investigate the smell. They then investigate the fridge, and find the compacted corpse inside the fridge. Dominic remembers a similar smell coming from a closet, and Harry stays behind as Dominic and Glenn investigate. They turn on the light to find a man hanging from a clothes hanger with a rod speared through his chest and his entrails slopping over his belt. They hear Harry scream and see something in the jester costume pulling out Harry's brain. Glenn grabs Dominic and they hide. Glenn decides they need a weapon to fight back and try looking for one, but Dominic notices the discarded jester costume. A fuchsia and white mushroom costume grabs Glenn and rams his head into a brick wall, shredding his entire body from the rib cage up. Dominic flees to the third floor and tries to build a machine to use as a weapon. He retrieves the other employee's satchel, noticing that Harry's body is gone and the Mushroom Man costume has been discarded. When he makes it back to the third floor, a rotting grayish-purple lion costume stands up and slams Dominic to the floor. It then reaches up through his solar plexus and grabs his trachea from the inside, pulling it out. Many years later, after 2023, Fazbear Entertainment brand is in shambles. William died, Henry died, Michael died, everyone related to the old story is now dead. To revive the brand, Fazbear Entertainment has a plan. They would hire an indie game developer named Steve Snodgrass to make game of their messed up past, then make a VR version to discredit the man. While making the game, they used an old circuit board, one that was made to Mimic, one that was called Mimic1, causing him to become a virus in the game that couldn't be removed. In this game filed of William Afton action, the Mimic began to mimic him, becoming a copy of what was once William Afton and Springtrap. He thought he was William, and he became what we like to refer as Glitchtrap. The Glitchtrap virus then tried to brainwash its victim into becoming his minion and helping him escape. His first victims was Jeremy, a beta tester, but he ended up cutting his own face to avoid getting controlled. His second potential victims is an unnamed woman we refers as Tape Girl. She made multiple tape documenting what was happening and Glitchtrap ended up attaching himself to the tape. So the woman splitted up the tape into multiple parts of the game, weakening Glitchtrap in the process. Glitchtrap failed this time, but remember what he was built to do? Mimic, so he ended up mimicking Tape Girl tape to encourage the future tester to reassemble the tape, and his plan worked for the next player, Vanessa. She tried to fight off the virus but ended up being possessed and controlled by him, becoming slowly his minion. They would communicate using the Vanny mask. Quick clarification before I continue. Right now here is basically two Mimic. His physical form I will simply refer as the Mimic, and his digital form called Mimic1 who we are referring as Glitchtrap right now. Basically the same character doing different thing on their side. Now back into the story. We are now entering the Pizzaplex era. A team of construction workers were given the task of cleaning the old Freddy Fazbear's Pizza Place of damaged endoskeletons for the construction of the new Mega Pizzaplex, aiming to turn the pizza place into a museum. Fazbear Entertainment sent several state-of-the-art animatronics to the construction site, including one that was strangely out of place, the Mimic. A worker named Gil plugs his laptop into the Mimic, giving it the task of removing the heads and arms from the various endoskeletons and throwing them into a pile. It does as instructed at first, but soon begins attacking the employees, ripping their heads and arms off of their bodies. The construction site is sealed off to prevent more people from entering. Later 8 teenagers, Lucia, Kelly, Hope, Joel, Jace, Adrian, Wade, and Nick find the sealed-up pizza place and sneak inside through a vent. The vent collapses behind them and traps them inside the pizza place with the Mimic. First, he suddenly yanked Nick far into the wardrobe for a few seconds before being thrown back out. Nick stumbles away and turns to face Hope before letting out a deranged chuckle and revealing his arm is gone. Before Hope is able to scream, Mimic metal hands shoot out and grip Nick's neck and twists his head off. Hope watches in horror as Nick tumbles to the wooden stage floor. The Mimic takes a step towards Hope, and she screams and takes off. Then, he wears the costume of a dog with a lolling tongue and spiked color. The light bulb goes out. The lights flicker back on as the floppy-eared dog grabs Hope's arms and rips them off before flipping her upside down and tearing her legs off. Hope's screams stop when the dog rips her head off. Drenched in Hope's blood, everyone else scatters to escape. Wade makes his way down to the dining room when the lights begin to flicker. He enters the kitchen and hopes to enter the hallway behind the endoskeleton using the other door, but the lights go out before he makes it. Wade accidentally knocks over a stack of pizza pans and alerts the endoskeleton of his location. He runs into the hall and throws the pizza pans at its neck, but they simply bounce off its shoulders and chest. Wade runs through the employees' lounge and runs towards the lobby only to discover that the endoskeleton had gone back the other way into the dining room. The room goes dark and the endoskeleton manages to graze Wade's forearm, digging into his skin. He manages to hide in the arcade, and once the room goes dark he sneaks back out into the dining room. Wade decides to hide in the pile of decaying body parts until the endoskeleton begins heading towards the stage. With a good enough head start, Wade runs to the back hall with the endoskeleton in pursuit. Joel hears pounding footsteps heading his way and hears the door to the systems room bang open. He looks down to see Wade quickly enter the chute before the lights in the room go black. Wade screams for Joel's help, but Joel knows his friend is dying and cares more about the fan slowing down. Once the fan comes to a stop, Joel manages to get his head and neck through it before his chest gets stuck. Joel relaxes his muscles in hopes that it'll get him free, listening to the sounds of the endoskeleton pulling Wade's dead body out of the chute. He listens as it does the same thing it did to Hope to Wade before gathering his parts. Then, the lights in the systems room come back on and the fan reactivates. Its blades cut through Joel's arms and chest, splitting him in two before chopping the rest of him into bloody bits. I got tired of reading, so all you need to know is that all of these teenagers die in an horrible way. Kelly died because the Mimic crawled in her body while she was hiding in a costume, and Lucia escaped by spring-blocking the Mimic in a jester suit. At one point after the Pizzaplex is completed, the head chairman of Fazbear Entertainment, Mr. Burrows, introduced a story-making computer program called the Storyteller, made to save money being spent in the creative department. One of the board member, Edwin Murray, disagreed with the project but just got ignored. The Storyteller was an artificial baobab tree in the middle of the Pizzaplex that had wire leading to all of the venues in the Pizzaplex, and could also give instructions to the Glamrock animatronics for the purpose of creating new interaction, personality and dialogue. However, Fazbear Entertainment did the mistake of using the Mimic1 virus to control the animatronics, changing Monty to an violent aggressive dude. Glamrock Chica becomes starved for attention, Roxy become a cruel bully, and Glamrock Freddy adopt a Brad-like behavior. Edwin sneak in the tree and see the tiger head as well as the Mimic1 virus used to power it, and recognize it, which give him trauma because of the past, and every day sneak in to write post-it that say, "I'm sorry." Mr. Burrow catch Edwin sneaking in, thinking he's the one who saboted the Storyteller. Burrow lock him inside of the Storyteller, but because of that Edwin cannot breath, so he write a last post-it saying "I'm sorry," before dying. Burrow mistakenly enter too, get locked, and later killed by the Storyteller too. The Storyteller is then removed but the virus is still on the Glamrock. Right now what you gotta know is the Glitchtrap virus, Mimic digital form, is affecting and controlling the whole pizzeria, even changing the animatronic's personality. Glitchtrap control Vanny and Mimic physical form is underground in the FNAF 6 pizzeria, and what I'm pretty sure happened is that Glitchtrap end up affecting his Mimic physical body, and since Glitchtrap is mimicking William, Mimic start mimicking William too, trying to look like Springtrap. At one point he give the Mimic virus to a little boy named Gregory who helped introducing and spreading the virus in the Pizzaplex, but at some point Gregory break out of the virus, so Mimic use Vanny to try to take Gregory. Gregory managed to put Glamrock Freddy in safe mode, which break him out of the virus, and Glamrock Freddy start helping Gregory. Mimic1 take over the remaining Glamrock to attempt to capture during the entire nights. Over the night, Gregory play each Princess Quest game, and each time he play one, Glitchtrap control weaken. At 6 AM Gregory play the last one, beat it, and heavily weakened the Glitchtrap virus, breaking his control of the Pizzaplex, and ultimately freeing all the Glamrock as well as Vanny. A bit more later Glitchtrap try one last effort to take control, but Jeremy, with his soul trapped in the game, work with Vanny and both fully defeat Mimic, which kills off the Afton part of the Glitchtrap fully. The physical Mimic stop mimicking Afton, and come back to its original form, but then get sealed by Gregory and Vanessa, who work together to seal him. Gregory distract Mimic, and the Mimic almost catch up to him, but Gregory escape last second, dropping his talkie-walkie that the Mimic will later use as his key to freedom. Vanessa and Gregory create a program called Mexis, designed to keep the Mimic locked and prevent the Mimic to trick anyone into letting him free, but the Mimic use Gregory's talkie-walkie to contact Cassie. To save Gregory, he tricked her into coming to the Pizzaplex, deactivating all the security that was made to keep him hidden, break the concrete wall, and finally be free. Gregory successfully contact Cassie by the end of the nights, but it was too late. The Mimic was free, so he tried to make Cassie escape by elevator. The Mimic almost catch up to her, but Cassie successfully escaped. Gregory tried to explain a bit what was happening, before suddenly crashing the elevator to take new risk, which may have been the Mimic mimicking Gregory one last time. tricking Cassie into thinking Gregory betrayed her, and maybe make her new Vanny, but we don't know because for now this is where the story ends. Can't believe I managed to get this video done due to how long the script is, and I will not waste more time to make it longer, so yeah, see y'all later.